Snakewood and that hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned.
Box Production.
I'm stronger than you. No brain, I was trained in the truth. I bang in the booth, drop the top on the coupe and let the rain in the roof. Might take a brief moment to roll me a blunt. Put the flame to the front right before I chief on it. I don't run from the beef, I done fought with the pork. You ain't punching no lungs, you was caught with a fork. Obscene speaking, must wanna see my green fall. Problem with the homie, should've kept it between y'all. I take it personal, the bitter with the sweet. I still jump out on feet with the spitter in the street. I see a few thousand every couple of lines. I'm on the grind, rap just one hustle of mine. I find it difficult to swallow my hood rep. Looking pitiful, trying to follow my footsteps with Doja. That's twice as gay as 4 facts, no pass. I want your ass on toe tag.
You are the flesh, then I am the bone. When you back out, still go on. Don't see me stopping, so you think it's hard to believe. I'm something like a hero. I'm stronger than you. Like a hero.
Crazy how they just like gave us the kaboot. Oh, my mama do it like y'all know we don't be going through that. Like we have technical difficulties, but just as soon as we get into something that is such an important topic for people such as ourselves, our core base, for the world in general, because when such an important portion of the population is imbalanced, then it tends to trickle down, and a lot of things tend to be off balance. And I don't see why it's not obvious, apparent that there's agenda, which, you know what, it is obvious and apparent, but I don't over and understand why somebody with the background such as Russell Westbrook, cuz I'm not sure if y'all familiar with cuz father's reputation. Everything y'all can imagine from this point backwards, not forward into the future, but back into the past, everything y'all can think that Los Angeles represents, and I don't know the man personally, and this is just for me being a native here. When you have someone such as Russell Westbrook that is a native from the general area, and then you have a father, you tend to get a general idea if the father is from an environment that you're familiar with. And his father's reputation is to be a real solid, stumped down street dude. I'm extremely curious, and I know what money can do to people and how it can broaden your perspective. So I can imagine that their relationship is not strained due to his son's fashion antics. However, can y'all recall recently we were discussing this type of behavior with melanated men in the media recently, and we were using I'll say I was using certain individuals as examples of people who have exercised like, what we would consider weird fashion practices that weren't necessarily feminine or of a feminine nature or masculine. If you had to just be honest, they were like peculiar. A lot of the flooding and certain things we've seen certain sports individuals do in press conferences. And along with Cam Newton, what Russell Westbrook's name came up with a disclaimer that, at least me personally, I had not seen him do something that I can definitely classify as feminine. However, more so than just paying attention or acknowledging any one person or groups of individuals' decision or preference on any one subject, I find it quite detrimental when you see the blend of masculinity taken on so willingly the appearance of femininity. I want to know what's the difference in these days. Like, prior to seeing Cuz in that dress, I thought it was the first time. I've since seen comments that indicate he's worn a dress prior to this. But what is the difference between Cuz doing that and this? Like, so are we to understand, overstand, understand, analyze, accept, or believe this individual is similar in nature to Russell Westbrook? Because at least in a fashion sense, I'd have to put both of those fashion statements in the same category. Born men who are very comfortable without physically, with their actual physical attributes, altering them, are very comfortable adorning themselves in traditionally and current feminine garb for no apparent reason. It's not like they're stuck somewhere deprived of clothing and the only option they have is a garment that is typically designated for women and they have to guard themselves and don't care what nobody thinks. These are typically people just based on their status in our society that have generally more access to variety than the average. So what motivates someone such as Westbrook with such a masculine general appearance to put on a dress? He looks like a deaconess. My mama and my mama and her sisters and my mama sister were all deaconess. I'm familiar with deaconess. These are the exact type of outfits that deaconess wear when they're on duty. Deaconess are the female version of deacons. They typically serve at communion, baptisms, ceremonies similar as such. And their skirts often look just like that. I don't know. On a slightly lighter note, but howsoever relevant when you look at the progression of things and how you could be asleep and see how something can slither through. Now, I just want you to trip. Your boy Busta Rhymes just very recently was quite vocal in the public, speaking against a lot of the current things that were going on as far as the mandates with the COVID and all that was concerned, right? Check it out. Very shortly thereafter, I saw a video of Cuz. It seemed like he was at a venue and he was going big on the whole idea of the mask and all that, and which anybody getting caught up in the emotion, in the feeling of the emotions of a moment, you probably can get with what he was saying in a lot of sense of what he was saying. You can relate, kind of like Cop Preacher. You get caught up in the speech. However, check this out and read the caption. All of a sudden, this is from years and years ago. How long ago? 1997. This is Martha Stewart, the OG convict. Busta Rhymes and I appeared on the MTV VMA Awards show in 1997. He just appeared tonight. And, wait, hold up. He just appeared tonight. Not in that dress, which I think he actually sold himself. Glad to see him back on the award show. Watch the YouTube video of us in 97. It's so well done. Can you imagine? Now, since 1997, I don't know how much parading we seen Busta do in those dresses, which would allow me to think this is not something he would like to surface. However, he kind of like put himself on a stake and said something that you might consider controversial, even sacrificial upon himself, and all of a sudden, pictures of him in dresses pop up. Now, I'm not conspiracy theorist type necessarily. However, I keep seeing people, every time we see Kitty Cat do something suspect, they always say, oh, he got to do something to appease those who have him in power. Something is ritualistic. Remind me of old boy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm a little more suspicious that these dudes are involving themselves in these type of activities for reasons that they are not vocalizing. I can't imagine what would make a cat want to just put on a dress. You dig a lie? I don't know. Me, shout out to Westbrook Daddy. I ain't disrespecting nobody cause wore the skirt as masculine as you could possibly see one worn. I see him doing everything he can to try to maintain some masculinity. But I think that's toxic masculinity. That's a term that is being popularized, and it's often attributed toward any unapologetic, firm, masculine, heterosexual, alpha, melanated male, which he appears to be in all other regards until he puts on such garment. And I don't know what the motivation is. I don't know if I'm so behind the curb of reality and humanity that that's not a move toward femininity. I'll remind you, there was a time when 2 earrings wasn't cool. I was young enough to be upon what I would be considered the pioneers of being niggas saying, oh, fuck, I'm wearing 2 earrings. And it was like, was it cool or not? So it doesn't look like he's attempting to relinquish any of his masculinity. However, I don't think and he is, no matter what you want to tend to believe, a role model. As long as he's been an NBA star, I'm sure he has went in public and presented himself to children as role model. I think that is a very confusing message to send to our youth, especially our male youth, especially in a climate such as this. Your father didn't do you that disservice. Your father that I know about from our shared environment did not do you the disservice of sending that type of confusing message to you. And just me as someone who's been here slightly longer than some of the others, I can remember when it was different. All digital platforms, I remember. On the turf, Lil Box and Lil Merc. Not a gang of birds, but the third served the Lil work. Sticky shit, every time he lit his big. Politicking with his clique, trying to hit the biggest lick. Problem with the hood, we gon' have to see to that. It was Baby Jinx, Tiny D, me and Black. To be from EC, can't explain how it felt to me. Lil BT nicknamed himself Looney. With Big Wine on the 5, getting hella faded. Heard that nigga ain't survived, so we celebrated. On a mission with the homies, or about my lonely. Niggas know me, always got the pistol on me. Shot his way on the set, they ain't quote him on. Never lied, every lyric you can quote him on. Diamond shining, rhyming with my rollie on. Money long, kinda like a Coleon.
I remember when a nigga first got turned out. I remember crocodile blood in the blood out. I remember coming up in the stove game. Now niggas only know about this whole game. I remember when a nigga first got turned out. I remember crocodile blood in the blood out. I remember coming up in the stove game.
I remember.
My mama, Some shit you just can't forget. Like some of the young niggas used to claim to set. Same time, some of the homies used to bang young. To this day, me and Herb trade the same guns. East side, niggas know about that 7 gang. Central to San Pedro, sold up on everything. You ain't heard, 93rd to the Sin. Ain't nothing new, neighborhood, this what it been. All the Sherm homies hitting in the hood. Fuck the function off soon to get to getting good. A party ain't a party without a little drama. In the parking lot, hollering at Lil Mama. Say my name next to Johnny Ray, Baby Dre. Soul 1 and 2, Big Snake from 88th. For death though, I die for, I surrender. Shit was evil on the east side, I remember
when the nigga first got turned out. I remember crocodile blood in the blood out. I remember coming up in the stove game. Now niggas only know about this whole game. I remember when the nigga first got turned out. I remember crocodile blood in the blood out. I remember coming up in the stove game. I remember.
Like I said, I remember on all digital platforms. Please don't be the one in the comments saying, yo, I appreciate the compliment, the flames and all that, saying the joint is hot, but don't ask me the name of that song. I remember all digital platforms.
Snakewood and that Puzzle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned.
Black Box Production.